Every episode of this season of Sword Art just keeps getting darker and darker. I am loving this. So, this entire episode, except for the last few minutes, or maybe it was post credit, I think it was post credit, dealt completely with the new emperors of the Dark Territory. And that was really good. That's one thing Sword Art's always hurt on was getting into the nitty gritty of the bad guy. Season one got a little bit of it with Kayaba, and then part two, we never really got any of it hardly with that weird piece of garbage that basically wanted to rape Asuna for her so he could get her money or whatever, and then marry her lifeless corpse. It was fucking weird. But we got a lot of insight into the main villain of this arc, and dude, is he messed up. Like at first, it's like he just seems like a normal kid. He's there with his friend. That's something I forgot to mention in my last review. Was that girl who we saw reaching down for him as he was falling into to Alicization. But now in this episode, we get to see a flashback to when he's a kid, and it's his friend Alicia. And at first, he's like, apparently he has a crush on her or whatever. That's what it seems like. But as we go through the episode, we get another flashback after what was her name? Prudia, something like that. The purple-haired chick that was working with the commander that wanted to talk with Berkuti about getting peace, which is definitely not going to happen now. But she comes in secretly there to assassinate him. He kills her like a freaking beast. Just strangles her to death, and then her light comes and goes into his, and he gets to experience what she's lived recently. And then we get a flashback to when he's a kid again, and he stabbed his friend in the head through the ear. Like, this dude is all sorts of fucked up, like hardcore. And he's sitting there. I don't know what I don't want to talk. This dude's fucked up. Okay, and so her soul comes into him, and he gets to experience some of what her soul has felt and is seeing. And this is really weird. Like, I get it in game, but it's really odd in the real world. I'm hoping that's something they'll expand upon. But it was dark though. It's fucked up, but I like it. It's something Sword Art definitely needed to start focusing more on, is the darker aspects of these villains. Aside from, obviously locking somebody in a game for 3 years and letting them die, but you didn't even see them personally do some really fucked up stuff. I like it. We get to see all the different tribes come together now that the Emperor's finally returned to his throne. And there's a lot of fucking people. We got to see that mage lady who they hinted at could get the power of the Pontifex. Some different orc tribes, some seeming like regular human dudes, some assassins, some like beastmen like tribes. Obviously the Dark Knights. Really awesome. And then when again, I forget the guy's name, but he was the lover of the girl who got killed by the Emperor. And he finds out what happened to her, and he goes berserk. It's like, how did he get so much power? I'm like, dude, there's so much badass stuff happening this season of Sword Art, and I freaking loving every episode. You know, but he gives this like gigantic tornado beast mode kind of thing, and winds up. They clash, and he winds up inside the Emperor's soul or something, and he talked about how it's lifeless and stuff. I guess just kind of hinting at, hey, this dude isn't from here, but at the same time, the soul that he has is empty. Like the dude's just a piece of shit. And maybe that's got something to do with this guy apparently able to absorb souls. I mean, because we have not seen that in this season, in the series at all, but definitely not in this season. I mean, I guess it makes sense why it hasn't been in the series before, but it hasn't happened this season yet until now with this guy, and he can do it in the real world too. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting concept to explore for sure. But yeah, they have a little clash, or not really a clash. Like the clash is really just the inside of him seeing the guy's soul, and then he just dissipates, and in the throne room he just dies, and then they all erupt, because they're stunned. This dude didn't do shit and just obliterated this high level commander. The dude is overpowered as hell, and I don't know what in the hell they're gonna do to defeat this guy because the dude's a fucking beast, and we've not even seen him get out of his damn chair to fight yet. He's like Chair Sama from the final few chapters of Bleach with Aizen. Oh man, that's fantastic. But yeah, now other than that, not much happened this episode. I had initially said there was concerns about Kirito not getting the fuck out of the wheelchair and waking up. We got Asuna coming in that's supposed to remedy that. But focusing a whole episode, really almost two whole episodes, like episode and a half, of solely the dark territory is a very smart decision. That's really good to keep people from being mad about Kirito. It's like there'll still be people gonna upset, like, I just want to see Kirito fight, blah 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 blah. But I think they're doing a really good job at building up a very credible threat, which is something that sort of always seems to fall on. They'll build up these really awesome badass villains, and then there's some fairy tale bullshit ending to it. Not that I don't love fairy tales, one of my all-time favorites, but you calling it like I see it. There's always like that bullshit with Agnologia. Or hell, even worse, that bullshit with Zera. But still. So I think this time they're building up a very credible threat that's going to actually cause some serious damage. And I'm really excited to see how they handle it and how they beat it. It's just going to be exciting. We end with Alice approaching the gate that we was mentioned earlier about how the barriers are going to be falling down and the invasion is going to begin. And we see Alice fall there and see that the gates are starting to crumble and sees that the army is massing in the dark territory and says they're out of time. And she turns around, assuming she's going back to the tower or the Axiom Church to try and get shit together. It's gonna be awesome. I think I've this is the most hype I've been for Sword Art probably ever, other than season 2. Oh, dude, I just can't wait to see what they do with it. I I it's just I'm almost speechless just how awesome this shit is right now. Uh, Doing a great job popping up the villain. I think probably within the next 2 episodes, Kirito's finally going to be. I would expect to see if they're going to focus on Alice at Axiom Church. I expect to see Asuna at the end of that episode, and then by the end of the following episode, we'll finally have Kirito back to some degree of fightability, if not 100%. Because I have a feeling that his memory is going to play some kind of role into like he's not going to remember Asuna or something, at least not at first. But I'm really excited to see if they keep going this really dark route, which I hope they do. I think that's good. But keep going the really dark route, and then I'm really hyped to see how they handle this gigantic battle coming. I mean, it kind of, in a small critique I have is, I expected more from Quinella. I kind of expected Quinella to be pulling this Agent Smith Matrix thing where she's trying to get out of the Matrix into the real world. And that's what she said she really wanted to do. But he beat her, and that was kind of the end of it. And I'm kind of like, that kind of sucks. I mean, because like I said, Sword's always had a problem with his final villains. I do I do have a problem that I kind of still wish we had Quinella as a threat. But you know, that aside, other than that, I'm really excited about where it seems like the series is going right now. Uh, we'll just have to see what they do. I just hope it keeps getting dark, and I just can't wait to see how they implement the outside into it as well, because we know we still have Silica and Elizabeth and Klein and all them that will at some point play some kind of key role into this. That's going to be exciting. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next review.